Hey guys, Cameron here with Emerson Property Management. Every week I bring you tools, tactics, strategies, lessons I've learned, things that helped me build up a sizable rental portfolio in about 2 years and now manage that portfolio. Today, guys, I want to talk through an eviction. So I want to go through a case study of an eviction we just completed, just got the property re-rented. It's done and over with, but I don't think a lot of property owners understand how inhibiting evictions are to your cash flow, the other little ancillary fees and things that come up with vacancy and lost rent and damages and make ready costs. So I think I wanted to lay all this out, and then I want to show you what the true cost of this eviction is. And then I want to talk about how long and if ever this owner will make this up. Because when you see this final number, you're going to be floored, and how long it'll take to make that back. So we're going to go through that, and we'll talk a little bit about how to prevent it, or how if this owner can make this up. So let's talk about it. Case study, my handy dandy whiteboard here. Eviction. This monthly rent was about $24.50. It was $24.50. The owner came to us after the tenant was behind and then wanted us to manage it. They used a friend or family member to place the tenant, so didn't do much in the realm of screening. It ended up, by the time we got the tenant, we immediately sent the notice to vacate and started the eviction process. By the time, because they waited like a month, maybe two, to get us involved and try to work with the tenant. So by the time we got the court hearing and got them out, they had lost almost $12,000 just in lost rent from that this tenant didn't pay. The damages that they did to the house and the eviction, court costs, eviction filing fees, attorney fees, those were about $4,700. So they didn't totally tear the property up, but it wasn't great. And it added up to just under $5,000. We were able to get this property rented in about 30 days. So it was only $2,400 in vacancy loss. And then there were about $2,500 in other costs. So you have utilities during the vacancy that you have to switch everything over to the owner. To the owner's paying that. You have a rekey that you have to do between tenants. So there's some other little fees, and then obviously I say fees. There's some other repairs and maintenance that you'll do between tenants. You know, check the service, the HVAC before the summer. There's other things. So when you do a make ready, if it gets below $2,000, that is a win. So this was about $2,500 in stuff that the owner could have done a year from now, maybe 2 years from now, when that tenant moved out, but they had to do it now. So the total, if you add these numbers up, the total is just over $21,550. Now, I did not include a lease fee. You could argue that comes in because you got to pay the agents, but I didn't even include that. So this owner lost $21,550. How long does it take to make back $21,000 if your property is only making $300 to $400 a month? And a $400 a month rental would be a good rental. It takes a long time. 5, 6, 7 years. So this owner, if he or she's making $300 or $400 a month, it is going to take them between 7 and 10 years to make this back. Now, does this happen every day? No. Do evictions take this long traditionally? No. This one stung a lot more because obviously there was a much higher price point. The rent was much more. But this is comparable. I think if you would find your property, if you would do a 3 or 4 month vacancy with some damages and repairs, maintenance, court costs, filing costs, I think you would see it's going to take you between 5 and 7 years to come back. If it's a bad eviction, it'll take you between 7 and 10 years to just get back to even and get those costs paid for. So the other question about that, and something to think about when you're doing this, we have not, at the time of this recording, this is mid-April 2023, we have not evicted somebody since August of 2019. We've had people leave, but hey, I can't pay rent. We've agreed to split, or people pay the termination fee, but we have not had to evict somebody, go through the whole court eviction that we have placed. We have dealt with this many times where we have an owner who calls us that's got a situation. But any tenant that we have screened in place, we have not evicted somebody since August of 2019. So that's almost, we're coming up on 4 years without having an eviction on somebody we screened. So this is why we take so much time and care when we do that. This is one of those things that if you do the math, like I said, it's going to take you between 5 and 7, maybe 5 and 10 years, depending upon how bad the eviction is and how much they damage the property to make that money back. So we take this very, very seriously. And I had to say this because I have to say this other piece, which kind of, you don't ever want to say, I told you so, it kind of stings, but at $125 a month, which is what we charge for one property at the time of this recording, he would have paid our fees for 15 to 20 years. So if we could have prevented this, he could have paid our fees for over a decade. Even with our fees, with our $125 a month management fee, and we could have kicked this down the road 3 or 4 or 5 years, the owner would have still come out ahead. So I want y'all to think about that too. It's one of those things, you don't have to have professional property management. You do not have to. But I want to say that it's almost like an insurance policy. You hire a property manager, they know how to deal with the issues. They have the people, whether that's contractors, whether that's good agents, whether that's good, not judges, but good attorneys to help with the eviction process and speed that process up. It is worth the 125. I don't know what everybody charges, but let's say 10%, whatever, just average 8 to 10% that you're going to pay a property manager. Because one incident, just like this, one of these pays for that property manager for a decade or more. So look at it that way when y'all are thinking about hiring somebody, a property manager. It doesn't have to be us. I just want to make that aware because I feel terrible for this owner. I felt so bad when we were going through this thing, and there was nothing that we could have done because we weren't involved in the process soon enough. There's nothing we could have saved him. And it is going to take him 5 to 10 years to make up this $21,000. So I hope that was helpful. Again, I'm not trying to scare anybody into using a property manager, but I just want to make you aware, property management, look at it as kind of like an insurance policy. You're going to pay a little bit. If something like this does come up, I can tell you it wouldn't have taken this long for us to get this person out. So keep that in the back of your mind. Look at it as kind of one of those necessary business expenses. People, you can do your own property management. I get that. I'm a very big proponent of starting out doing that, but I can tell you, if you're not seasoned, you're not savvy, with the more and more litigation you're getting, things like this can wipe you out. Who in the world has $21,000 laying around right after you thought you were going to make $300 or $400 a month? Anywho, that's my rant. I hope that was helpful. If it was, let me know. If it wasn't, let me go comment below. Appreciate y'all. See you next week.